Hello and welcome to episode 66 of the 214 Sports Show. This is a new location for me. Joe is still in his same location. By the way, Joe, speaking of him, how are you doing?
Doing all right, man. Yeah, woke up to some phenomenal news for the Dallas Cowboys. It's been a much better week in Dallas sports than last. Of course, it's been the Stars clinching and a historic comeback. We'll get into that with a iconic hat trick. You saw the hats raining down in the AAC, and I believe a special someone was in attendance for that game with an unforgettable ticket. Oh yeah,
Stop
that's
it.
how you. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna explain this experience in full length on a podcast episode, but I'd love to hear it. But of course, the Dallas Cowboys have just traded for a wide receiver too. I can't believe it. The GM, the old man Jerry Jones, has finally woken up from his slumber. Just great news on this Wednesday morning. That
We
we're
got
recording,
our
by the way.
receiver.
Released on a Thursday.
Yeah, no, Joe, that's a very elaborate how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yes, doing great. Doing good.
No, we can't wait to get this episode started. There is a lot to talk about. Um, this is the Josh Sborz episode, by the way. Episode 66. Gotta give it two.
He's earned it. He's earned it. He's
Yeah,
earned it.
he earned it. All right. He had a good
Wish he was healthy,
2023
but he's earned it.
postseason. And he'll always be the final out. Or not the final out. He'll always be the guy who got the final out of the World Series championship for the 2023 Texas Rangers. So good for him. He deserves this episode name, I believe. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go and talk about the Cowboys, like Joe said. We're gonna talk about the Stars. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Rangers. But before we get into all of that, we're gonna have on today's date, which is a little bit more of a throwback. All right, it's gonna be May 8th in 2011. The Mavericks sweep the two-time defending champs, the Los Angeles Lakers, 122 to 86, better known as the Mother's Day Massacre. Mavs made 23s and Jason Terry hit nine of them while also scoring 32 points. Now, Joseph, there's 23s made in that game by the Mavericks. They set a record at the time, no longer a record because threes are a lot more popular now. But I always said that nine of those 23s were made by Jason Terry. All right, I'm gonna let's give you 45 seconds, okay? 45 seconds.
On the dot.
Yeah, 45 seconds on the dot. All right. I'm gonna say, can you name the other six players who hit a three in this game for the Dallas Mavericks? Ready?
The other who what? Made a three, you're saying?
The other six players who hit a three in this game. The
All right. Whenever
23.
you're ready. Whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm starting in three, two, one.
Dirk, J Kidd, Peja Stojakovic, Sean Marion.
Nope.
Uh, Not Sean Marion?
Nope. No, no, whatever that jump shot is.
Oh my God.
It ain't
JJ
any jump.
Barea. JJ Barea for sure. Let me think. Brian Cardinal,
Oh my God. He's cooking.
the
Ladies and gentlemen, he's
custodian.
cooking. He's
Who's the
got one
sixth?
more
Who's the
now.
sixth? Who's the sixth? Who's the sixth?
15 seconds.
Deshaun, what's his name? Stevenson. Did I get it?
All right. He got it.
Bang!
I should have given you 30.
Bang! Deshaun Stevenson. I almost forgot that name.
Do not question Joseph's ball knowledge on the 2011 Dallas Mavericks.
Champs forever. Nobody can take it away. Not even you, Nico Harrison. Not even you can take away that 2011 championship.
He can never take away the memories of the 2011 championship. Um, Moving in, we're gonna go actually straight into the Cowboys. We had the Stars planned out to be the first team of the podcast. Probably the first time we've ever talked about the Stars first on the podcast. They finally got first in line, and then Jerry Jones comes in, flexing his
He just had to.
new amazing wide receiver, George Pickens. We just got news this morning that the Dallas Cowboys have traded for Pittsburgh Steelers, no longer Pittsburgh Steelers, wide receiver George Pickens for and a 2027 sixth round pick in exchange for a 2026 third round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. George Pickens, already in his first three seasons has 2,841 yards, 174 receptions, has 12 touchdowns in those 3 years. Um, Obviously hasn't had the most reliable quarterback system on Heinz Field or whatever it's called now. Um, Now he's got good old Dak Prescott as his quarterback. He's got the star on his helmet. He's got CeeDee Lamb as his wide receiver duo. Any bet way better than any receiver he's had in Pittsburgh so far. Joe, do you think this is a W, an N, or an L? N means neutral. You just don't care.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. It's a W.
Oh,
All I've been asking for is just an effort, you know. I'm not going to complain about this. I've been asking for this guy just to make some kind of move. This guy and Jerry Jones to make some kind of move, just to show that you care, man. And not having a receiver drafted, we talked about just last week and the week before, was very concerning. Not a single one in a draft where you're supposed to get, young guys to help support your wide receiver one is CeeDee Lamb, and your returning quarterback who's off another injury in Dak Prescott. You need somebody to help him out because Brian Schottenheimer, I wasn't hopeful too much for him in his new hiring as head coach, replacing Mike McCarthy. If he wants to reinstitute that run game with Clayton Adams, who is his OC, you got to start up front, of course, with the Tyler Booker pick. Zach Martin is gone now. You got to start up front with that to fix the old line. Then you also got to help, have a receiver because a good run game also sets up a good pass game. So I see their game plan with this. From what we've heard, they said that Jerry didn't even know who his agent was, so that's why he was so receptive to this deal because he knows that like this guy may not be as eager, I guess, to get a big time deal done. That's why he's like, let me just go and take our chances with this guy who has 1 year deal, 1 year left on his deal, and say, you know what, maybe we'll tag him. Maybe we'll take a chance to delay the deal if he even wants that much money. Who knows? Maybe he'll take a team friendly deal. Probably not going to happen, but
come
we'll
on.
see. It's worth the chance. That's all I've wanted with the Cowboys, man. Be like the Eagles. Just take a chance and let the chips fall where they may. Because when you have a guy like that who is 6'3", 205 to offset a top five receiver and CeeDee Lamb, everybody can eat. Just give them a chance. Give your fans a chance who have been asking for this, and stop waiting on being all in on your guys and just let the chips fall where they may. I like this trade personally.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me just a tad bit, not too much. I don't think it's as good as the Amari Cooper trade. Obviously, we gave up a first in that Amari Cooper trade, but kind of shows that little aggressiveness that we've been waiting for the Cowboys that comes just ever so or every blue moon. Sorry, I kind of messed up my words there, but kind of comes every blue moon. But I mean, we talked about this just last week after the draft. We're like, we reconstructed Dak and CD's contracts. You don't do anything in free agency to get a wide receiver. You get into the draft, you expect to see a wide receiver drafted. Instead, they draft two running backs. They don't get a single wide receiver. And we're all just kind of looking at each other like, what are the Cowboys going to do at receiver? There's still only CeeDee Lamb as an option. The rest of them are just I swear background actors. I don't know if they were real players. I mean, no disrespect to players like Brendan Cooks and all those, which are now not on the team anymore. But like, I'm not I don't think a lot of people had a bunch of like huge excitement for Ryan Flournoy. Um, so getting somebody like George Pickens after the draft, I mean, it kind of makes you wonder like how long has this been in the works if they didn't even plan on taking a wide receiver in the draft over, well, I guess has it been over a week? I don't know.
Yeah, it's been over a week probably.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how long this trade's been in the works, but I mean, I would say this is a W as well. You got to. You got to.
You'd expect this kind of move like during the draft, which is so funny. I was talking to one of my Steelers friends, and he woke up to the news. He's a little bit groggy, and he's like, "What just happened?" Because you get a guy in DK Metcalf from the Seahawks, and what they're doing seems to be what we're doing now. Two dominant wide receiver one kind of players that are both in your lineup, and it makes this move look like now for them that I guess they're sold on like getting Aaron Rodgers or something. I don't know.
I was
Unless
correct.
they're just committed to Will Howard, because you would think if you had a young quarterback you're committing to, you'd want him to have the most help you can possibly have. But if you let this guy go, a 24-year-old receiver in George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, are you saying, man, we just want to get a guy like Aaron Rodgers who we think has 1 or 2 years left, and then we just have him develop under have Will Howard develop under him and then possibly get a receiver down the line because DK was traded to this team to play alongside George Pickens and Calvin Austin. So I'm just like, what is this doing, bro? I don't know what the Steelers are doing, to be honest. I guess they've had enough of him as a head case because he is kind of nuts. If you're Mike Tomlin, you've seen the interviews he's had, like just talking about this guy, and it's just always trying to, hype him up and try to have a poker face because they don't want it to reveal too much about the kind of stuff he's been on the sidelines and all the drops he's had, which he's had an issue with that in the rain, of course. But when you have the issue with his mentality, his effort sometimes, I guess it's time just to get rid of him, I guess. That's why they decide to just let him go to the Cowboys.
Well, luckily he won't have any drops.
Oh,
Or I
don't worry
mean,
about it.
let me not jinx it. But at least he won't have any rain in
Oh
Dallas.
yeah. He'll just have to
Unless
deal with
unless the
the
roof
window.
yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, now he has got to deal with the window, but I mean that is a good point, but I mean also the roof leaked a little or no, it fell apart actually. So, we don't know what's going to be going on in Jerry World, the Death Star. Good old Death Star. Did a project about that stadium. But did you see Jordan Lewis's tweet saying like
I
this is
did, man.
confirmation God wanted me to go to Jacksonville
I feel
after their
bad for that guy, man. Like, I wish he didn't tweet that, but like, you would think that they'd want to keep this guy. There's no way they couldn't have kept him based on what this move just was with like a third and what, a seventh, you said?
yeah, the
It's
third
like,
and seventh, third and fifth, right?
it makes me
I
sad because he's
can't
clearly,
remember.
clearly one of our best, if not our best, slot cornerbacks. To have him just gone now to Jacksonville kind of sucks because it would have been awesome to have him still with this defense that is trying to get back in the right foot with Matt Eberflus. But yeah, that tweet was kind of sad to see because I actually appreciated Jordan Lewis more in his latter half of his Cowboys tenure. But yeah, hard to watch that one.
Yeah, I mean it is a tough one. He used to be the really big instigator for this defense. Felt like he kind of had the culture that you'd want from a defensive cornerback. Was always there, the not afraid to get in the wide receiver's face. And that's what happened with him and George Pickens. They butted helmets, and it didn't go too well for George Pickens. Jordan Lewis got the last laugh, but Pickens was able to snatch his
His chain.
yeah make him fall to the ground while Jordan Lewis was parading around him. But I mean, yeah, you- it kind of does suck to lose, obviously we don't want to lose Jordan Lewis, and obviously that tweet did hurt a little bit. But going back to George Pickens, we got a guy who averaged over 1,000 yards with the QB situation that they had back in 2024. I can't remember who exactly their quarterback was. Um, uh, do you know?
Say it again.
Was it
In which year?
2024 Steelers quarterback?
Russell Wilson?
Was it not Russell? I mean, well,
In 2024?
2023. Sorry,
Oh,
sorry, sorry.
2023?
Yeah, because it's
Oh,
their that was the year he had over 1,000 yards.
why am I forgetting this?
And I want to say that it was yeah, I want to say that it was Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Kenny.
I mean, it was
It's supposed to be the Pickett to Pickens, connection, and that never really worked out.
yeah.
So
I mean, so yeah, in 2023 they had three different players start games for them, three different quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph, and he was still able to get over 1,000 yards. Obviously, kind of banking on Dak Prescott to stay healthy here, have that consistent option, have somebody who statistics show is a top 10 NFL quarterback in the regular season, um, you're going to have somebody like George Pickens who hopefully can just now we have two receivers that I think can easily have over 1,000 yards in this regular season. Maybe this offense maybe this offense isn't too bad now. Maybe adding that major piece. Still a lot of work to do, I believe. Still not a lot of good depth, and obviously the running back option is still very questionable. But the Cowboys making
Just
moves this
just try,
weekend.
man. Just trying, dude. You have to appreciate that. Just try, dude. We've been talking about Howie Roseman just putting his hat in there, just giving an effort. Why not us, man? They have all this money. Just give an effort. Who cares about the whole like picks thing? That's why that Les Snead guy, the Rams GM, is famous for saying "F them picks." And look what it's done for them. People thought they'd be screwed by this time. And look at that. They have the youngest defense in the league and end up being one of the best defenses in the league. End up getting them a playoff win against Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings, a 14-win team. Let the picks go, man. You can find a way. You can find a way. And what I like about Pickens, by the way, before we get out of here, with those 1,140 yards you were talking about, he did that off 63 catches. Crazy after the catch ability, just like CD, but the fact he did that with only 60 plus catches is kind of insane. Um, Most of the catches he gets are, downfield. He's not getting a lot of like slants. I bet that can change really just based off the matchup and scheme that they are, because him and CD are pretty tall receivers. They could probably feast off slants like AJ Brown. Maybe that changes when they get with Brian Schottenheimer, but the fact he did that in that season with so few catches is kind of insane to me, which is why I'm happy that he's here.
Yeah, and you also got to be happy to see CD Lamb finally not be the guy who everybody's looking at when Dak Prescott snaps the ball. I
Yeah,
mean,
getting triple teamed.
that was literally last year. It's like Dak will snap the ball and everybody's like, "Where's CD?" That's who everybody cared about on the Cowboys offense. That was the guy who was complaining, just got this brand new contract extension, was one of the highest paid receivers ever. Everybody was looking his way because nobody cared about anyone else on the Cowboys offense because they weren't really worth a damn sometimes. So, um, hey, got to be happy for CeeDee Lamb. Got to be happy for George Pickens. Hopefully, we can. Hopefully, the Cowboys don't have to deal with too many of the off the field issues that the Steelers had to deal with Pickens. But we'll see.
Surely not. Surely not.
Surely not. Surely,
What could go
we won't.
wrong?
We won't have any problems. Dak's a leader, man. Dak is a leader. Um, but anyways, we're gonna move to the Dallas Stars, starting a new series with the Winnipeg Jets in the second round of the NHL playoffs after the Stars had to beat the team that had one of the best odds to win the Stanley Cup in the first round. They go into the second round and play the team that won the President's Cup. Wow. Wow. Great format, NHL. Um, so unfortunately, we won't be able to react to game one because we are filming this before game one happens on Wednesday, and this episode will be released on Thursday. But luckily, game ones don't matter too much, guys. Remember that. That's important. Game ones do not matter that much. All right. We saw that with the Stars. They're, I think, 6-2 in our last playoff series, and they've lost all of those game ones. So do I think that they're going to win this game one tonight? I guess yesterday? No, no, I don't think they will. But will I be worried? Will I overreact? Like
You
a lot
bet.
of you guys on Twitter?
You
Yeah,
bet.
probably. Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh yeah.
probably will. But
Oh,
don't be
who?
worried.
Yeah. Well, like who wasn't overreacting after that game one loss? That Stars end of the season streak was just horrendous. It felt like it
That
was
one made
just
sense. I
that
think
one
that
made
one
sense.
made
Come
sense.
on.
Yeah.
That one felt like the
Because
road was
Joe
about
got
to
me
end.
all hyped up that they were going to go into the playoffs like the 2023 Texas Rangers and
Oh
they're
yeah.
going to go out there, win all their games. not even have any issues, barely face any adversity other than the Houston Astros. Like they'll make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals or something, just storming through everybody. And then game
Mm.
one happens, and I'm like, this season's over. Season's over. Joe lied to me. But so I mean, the thing that we can talk about though that has already happened and won't happen again um, after this episode is released is the Colorado Avalanche and Dallas Stars playoff series in 2025. My goodness, we beat them again. Mac Dog does not know how to get past us. McCarr does not know how to get past us. Jared Bednar, the Avalanche coach, all struggling to get past us. 0 and 3 in the last 5 years to be against the Dallas Stars. Surely that's meant Stanley Cup, right? Surely beating the Colorado Avalanche
Surely.
2022 Stanley Cup champions 2023, 2022, 2022. And I got puck knowledge. All right.
Attaboy.
Puck
Attaboy.
knowledge.
That's what I'm talking about.
Literally 3 years ago. Should know this crap. Um, but yeah, so Stars win in seven. I should say Miko 1 and 7. Just an absolutely amazing performance. As Joe talked about at the start, I did go to Game 7 at American Airlines Center. What an amazing atmosphere. Was the best game that I've ever been to as a sports fan. Um, you just felt like you were dead in the water, obviously, especially after that 2-0 goal by Nathan McKinnon very, very early in the third period of that game. But I remember, I mean, hey, look at this. First of all, after experiencing this from last year with the Mavericks and the Stars both making it far in the playoffs, having those game sevens, I think 3 years ago where they had it, where both teams had a game seven in the same night. The Mavs played the Suns, the Stars played the Flames. I've learned this from experience, all right? When a city has two teams that make it deep into the playoffs and they both play at the same night, especially game sevens, you got to break even. There is no way that both teams win. All right. One of them's going to lose. One of them has to lose. And I went to the bathroom during that second intermission of the American Airlines Center. I'm like, you know what? Let me go check my phone for the NBA scores. Now I don't really check NBA that much. Not anymore, at least. But I was like, let me go check the NBA scores because I knew that the Nuggets were playing a game seven the same night that the Avalanche were playing a game seven. And I looked it up. Nuggets destroyed the Clippers in game seven. I'm like, all right,
This is a sign
it can't happen.
something's got to give.
Look, all the statistics, even when we're down 2-0, although I did think that we were going to lose once we went down 2-0, I will say all the statistics were pointing towards the Stars winning that game. Come on. Pete DeBoer, 8-0 in game sevens.
That
Jared
stat
Bednar,
is wild.
0-3. I will say this. Pete DeBoer's game seven mastery being 9-0 is one of the craziest sports stats that I've ever seen. That dude simply just does it yet over and over and over again. Hopefully now this guy can earn a cup. He deserves it. Um, but I mean, I'm like, look, it has to happen. All the stats were showing that the Stars were going to win this game. They were 2-1 in the series on at home. They had already won a crucial game five at home. Pete DeBoer 8-0 in game sevens. The Nuggets won their game seven. It had to be the Stars that come back, and my goodness, you couldn't have scripted a better story for it. Of course, the Jets and Blues had to come in to the very next day and make an even better game seven result.
Mm.
But the Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche game seven will go down still in NHL history. What a performance. Mika Rannon, I think that the best part was I had a really good view of his wraparound goal that he took off Gerard's skate. Um, that was like a game seven. That was like a game seven. I don't even know how to explain it, but if you know about the Stars in 2019, going into, I believe, double overtime with the St. Louis Blues in Game 7 and Jamie
Then
Benn having
they
that
needed that
wraparound
wraparound.
shot. You know,
Sheesh.
I don't know. I don't know. Losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions by a controversial no goal in Game 7 when you went to overtime and your goalie Ben Bishop had a legendary goalie performance hurts a lot. It was like, I mean, he could have easily called that a goal. I still kind of think it was a goal. Um, and finally, man, feels like it was just feels like I can breathe a little bit after that. Like Miko was able to get that wraparound goal. We had the luck on our side. Went in. Wyatt Johnston game 7. That's the second game 7 I've been to in my life for the Dallas Stars, and that's the second time I've seen Wyatt Johnston score in a game 7. Mr. Clutch guy, and he's only 21. He's like, I mean, I think, well, he's 22, I guess. He's my age. He's almost my age. Like, I'm
Scary, dude.
21 and he's 22. I always think of that one video where it's like Ryan Williams and it's like reacting to watching Ryan Williams and like the broadcasters are like, he is only 17, more successful and more younger than your broke ass or something like that.
But in a way, aren't you grateful though, like to have the Jets in this series? Because then you have like, Vegas and Edmonton kind of hashing it out and one of them gets to, fall by the wayside there. I think I'd rather have this series in a way than having the teams that, have bounced us the past two seasons.
Well,
I
you're gonna
don't
have to
know,
play
man.
one of them eventually.
You're gonna have to,
Get
but I'd
through
rather I'd
Winnipeg.
rather, do it when it matters the most in the very end to go to the Stanley Cup. I feel like this is actually a blessing for the Stars and they get healthier, as you just seen. Roberson's probably on the way back, Haskin on the way back. They're getting healthy at the right time, man. And like I was saying, that take a month ago, this could be a Rangers situation. It was looking grim. It was looking grim. It looked like the season was on the brink of collapse. And look at that. Mikko Rantanen saving the season, hat trick against his former team. I can't believe what I watched. That was one of the best hockey games I've ever seen. If you don't like playoff hockey, man, I wish more people just knew about it because if they actually gave it a chance, dude, playoff hockey is electrifying. If you were like, I can imagine even being in that stadium at AAC because that must have been quite the experience. I'm sure you have a memory for a lifetime. Do you have a physical ticket or was it electronic or what?
It was all
No?
electric. We don't get physical tickets anymore, man. It's a digital
Dang,
world, bro. It's
dang.
a digital world.
Man, that was, dude, what a special night. Very special night. This has to be a sign, right? This has to be a sign.
Oh man, I hope so.
Oh, I'm knocking on wood. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but man, what a special win. Avalanche still cannot beat this team. We still own them, and hopefully that the Vegas and Edmonton series goes seven as well, so they can get tired before they could eventually, hopefully, play the Stars. But I don't want to look too far ahead because this is a big challenge going against the Jets, who were dominant in the late stages of the season against Dallas as well. So
So you're saying you want to play the Knights, right?
I would rather play the Knights. Yes, I don't want to do it.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to have.
look at that series too ahead again. It kind of sucks whenever you had 1.5 seconds left of having home ice advantage and playing St. Louis, and now you
It's
got the Jets.
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
How do you blow that? How do you blow that? How does that happen? One
Tough man,
second,
Jordan
man.
Bennington.
1 second. Oh my Lord. That's
But
so bad. That's so bad, man.
I was having a good time. I mean, I guess you could say the St. Louis blew it, but I didn't want to like, St. Louis was still a dangerous team. They had a really good run at the end of the year. They're a quick team.
Oh
Um,
my
the
God.
Jets will wear you out though, and they are the President's Cup for a reason. Connor Hellebuyck hasn't had a good playoff series, but it's just perfect for that goalie to get hot right when they're playing the Dallas Stars. Hopefully. It doesn't, obviously, but you just never know. But anyways, all right. Before we get to the good old Texas Rangers, I want to ask you, Joe, did you see the new Utah Mammoths
I
logo?
did. I did. The hype video was pretty nice. I will say I like that logo. I'm typically not fans. not a fan of teams that don't end with an S. I usually hate that. That's one of my big pet peeves in sports. Some teams can
Wow.
get away with it. If you're like Alabama, Crimson Tide, you can get away with that. I don't like the Heat. Don't like Jazz. I
Ooh,
don't like what's another
you
one?
don't like jazz.
I don't like the Thunder. I don't like Jazz. I don't like the Thunder. I like Mammoth. I actually like dig it more. I have a soft spot for this one for some reason. I don't know why, but I usually don't like when it doesn't end with an S. This one is fine though. I'll take
It's a
it.
that's a good opinion to have, I think, in my opinion. You know what? I would fight for that opinion. I would
Yeah,
fight for
fight
that
for it,
opinion.
bro.
I could see you like the one photo of the guy standing up, everybody looking at him. I could see it. I'll be that guy with that opinion. I agree with it. But I don't in this case. All right. I don't
Oh
like
my
Mammoth.
God.
Yeti should have been
Yetis
the
was
name. We
nice.
all
The
know
Yetis
that
was
the Utah
nice.
Yetis should have been the name. The trademark office, dumbasses. Come on. Are you kidding me? They're gonna get confused with the actual Yeti brand. Are you kidding me? Like, does the Texas Rangers not get confused with the actual Texas Rangers? Like, where do the rules come from, man? Like, come on. Like, you telling me that the Rangers can get away with it, but no, they won't get confused with the actual Texas Rangers. I'm sure there's a lot of other examples out there too. But the Utah Yetis should have been a name. Very disappointing. Anyways, let's get to the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers, who we can no longer say are the number one team in the AL West. I probably couldn't have said that last week either, but oh, ooh, on a
What?
two-game winning streak right now though, and there's a lot of moves that they made. All right, we do know that they put a lot. They made a lot of moves. First off, they optioned Jake Berger, then went and fired their former offensive coach Donnie Ecker, the hitting coach, possibly, basically the hitting coach. Then they go and put Leody Taveras on outright waivers. Give him some time in the basically transfer portal almost. Mariners come and snag him. Um, and now Evan Carter is brought up. Now everybody knows
Man,
who Evan Carter is. And also they just
interesting.
hired a new hitting coach. Sorry, Brett Boone,
Yeah.
15 years. And all of a sudden, 6 runs against the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. You get an easy win with Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. He's killed it. 2.01 ERA so far this year. Trevor Mall is going up on the mound this Wednesday. Well, we don't know the result, obviously, but a lot of moves. A lot of moves in Arlington recently, huh?
It's been a hectic past 2 weeks, but first I want to say thanks to Leo Taveras. Without you getting on base with that walk, man, the 2-run home run from Seager would not be possible. Thank you for the career. 10 years of service in the Rangers organization. But it was time. A lot of errors in defensive in right center field, really, and left center field, really holding it down back there. Um, it just really sucks how it ended because I really did like him. He was a young player, and now he's claimed by the Seattle Mariners. But you have to hate it for Leote. Who knows if anybody's next on the chopping block? A lot of people are wondering how in the world Jock Pearson has survived these cuts and these options because Jake Berger had to take the fall and somehow Jock Peterson didn't. But he had 2 hits this past Tuesday against the Red Sox, so looking much better, I guess. But this Donnie Ecker firing is really interesting to me because it came after, of course, a win against the Mariners, scoring 8 runs, I believe. Had a 7-run inning at one point in the third, I believe. But it came at a weird time. But the fact they hired Brett Bone out of nowhere, it seemed like Brett, if you look at his videos, was surprised himself. Like nobody even had this guy in their radar. It's completely out of left field, really, from GM Chris Young. He was on his podcast, I think, explaining how like crazy it was that this timing happened, and he did want to be in coaching still, but the fact that the Rangers have all of a sudden called him out of nowhere. Who, by the way, he has no history with the Rangers, Brett Boone. He used to be with Seattle Mariners, but he's been with a lot of teams in the MLB in his 15-year career. The fact he got called out of nowhere to coach the Rangers, I would be shocked too if I just got a random call to be the hitting coach of like the Mariners out of nowhere, like the Brewers, while I'm just sitting back doing podcasting. But this is awesome for him, I guess. And so far, so good. It's just cool to see a different voice, and maybe that's what rejuvenated this offense last night. If you want to call it rejuvenation, they had 8 runs, like I said, but it's cool sometimes to have a different voice. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Well, I guess you could say that the hiring of Brett Boone came out of left field. Um, thank you. I'm here
Yeah,
all day, by the way.
awesome.
But I mean, Brett Boone was quoted, and he said that he ran into his old buddy of his, Michael Young, when he went up to USC, his alma mater. He was talking with him and had a 10-minute conversation. He gets home and the phone's ringing, and it's Rangers manager Bruce Bochy. Um, so, hey, shout out Michael Young, still
What,
helping the Rangers,
what in
even
the
retired.
world, bro? Like,
Um, but no, it's a very I think it's a very good hiring, and I think that it's something that just had to move the change. We're averaging 228 in the so far this season. Just absolutely awful. The team hitters ranked 29th with 113 runs scored. They're 25th in team batting average, 28th in on base percentage, and 25th in slugging percentage. Also have the second worst walk rate of any team in the MLB. They also have a negative run differential, despite having the best pitching in the AL West. Um, so, I mean, something had to move the chain. It wasn't Donnie Ecker. It wasn't the players. It wasn't optioning Jake Berger. It wasn't putting Leody Taveras on outright waivers. None of this was working. Putting in a new hitting coach quite possibly could help, also could light a fire under the players. Because now you're basically telling them that they suck at hitting. Hey, you suck so bad, we had to get mid-season help out here. Not really mid-season yet, but I don't know. I mean, I'm never in the locker room. I'm never been a huge baseball player. Kind of quit after middle school, so I don't really know what's going on in a baseball locker room. Don't know how much this is going to help the squad, but very happy that both the Arlington teams are trying to make moves to improve the team after such a long stand of a lot of mediocrity from both of these teams on the offensive standpoint. So,
you were kind of hitting the nail on the head right there, saying it was putting guys on notice, threatening with DFAs, especially the Leody one. If you're Adolis Garcia, especially, Leody is one of his best friends. Um, you've seen Duran also one of his best friends go back and forth between the system as well. Adolis Garcia, I mean, don't count him out for being DFA too. He could very well be out of here. He had a good night last night against the Boston Red Sox on Tuesday, but who knows, man? He could be very well out of here as well. We
I think
definitely
that
need
would
his
be a better
power.
move, but I get getting the
I
young
believe
guys
so,
up
yeah.
is
For sure,
sooner.
but who knows? Who's safe at this point? Evan Carter, I couldn't help but be happy for him last night in the Tuesday matchup against the Red Sox. Got a hit off a lefty in Newcomb, relief pitcher out of the pen for Boston. You love to see that, but just seeing the guy out there smiling, having fun, and finally being locked in possibly for this center field role instead of having to be a platoon guy or splitting left field with Robbie Grossman. I love to see it because this is the outfield I've been dreaming of. Him, Elbombi, and Wyatt Langford. This is what I've been looking for a while since the championship winning season. It's good to have him back because he's been through a lot this past year with his back injury, but also his struggles, like I said, against left-handed pitchers. Hopefully, he can keep this one going because that was a heck of a start on Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely need him to keep going because now with Leody Taveras in Seattle, I mean, the only right center fielder option that we have of Evan Carter is not fully recovered from his injuries or just not, you know, just was really a one-hit wonder, which would be very hard to think about. I don't think that that's going to happen, but now you only have Kevin Pillar in that center field, and no disrespect to Kevin Pillar at all. It's been a great player for us so far. Great runner on the bases, good defense, has been a good hitter this year, which was unexpected, especially with how the lineup's playing. But Are you winning a World Series with Kevin Pillar starting in center field? I don't know. I don't know. And again, no disrespect to him, but
Is Evan Carter gonna save our season again?
you think so?
That's the question that was circulating on Rangers Twitter. Is he gonna do? Is the little savior gonna save the season again? This time earlier than last. He did it for sure last year, coming in like late September. But man, he's got a lot of work to do with this entire offense if they want to turn this season around because
We're
it's been a
giving
bad 2 weeks.
we're giving this guy too much pressure again, man. He's still so young. It's like the Max Christie SGA shit, man.
Oh yeah.
Got this whole we're telling these we're so delusional sometimes with our players. It's a lot of mediocrity in Dallas sports that when we get a glimpse of hope, man, we take it and run with it. My goodness, it is it is so funny. But anyways, I think that'll do it for today's episode. We talked pretty for a decently long time about three different teams, the Cowboys, Stars, and Rangers. Both, I would say, all have some upside potential right now. So hopefully they unlock it, and we'll be able to happily talk about both of or all three of them next week. But for now, we will ask you to like, subscribe, and share this video if you liked it. We appreciate you watching. We love all the interaction we get here at the 214 Sports Show. But you can follow us at 214 Sports Show on YouTube and also on TikTok, or sorry, on Spotify. Sorry, I just got to make sure that I got this all right. Because I don't want to. It's already on the screen. You guys see it on the screen, but um, let's see. So yeah, it would be at the 214 Sports Show on YouTube and Spotify, and at 214 Sports Show for Twitter/X, Instagram, and TikTok. That's embarrassing. I should know our social media handles, but just wanted to make sure, just wanted to double check so you guys get the right names. You can look us up correctly. Um, but we share a lot of content on all those apps. Um, again, we always really appreciate the interaction. Joe, do you want to talk about your socials?
Why yes, teacher. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Joseph_Duffy99, at Joseph_Duffy99 on Instagram and Twitter.
You can follow me on Twitter/X at TJ_Krulowitz and then on Instagram at TJ.Krulowitz. Um, Again, we really appreciate you watching. This has been episode 66, the Josh Sborz episode. Speaking of people who need to come back for injuries or from injuries,
Please, please come back.
come on, Spores. We miss you. But anyways, we'll see you next week for episode 67. Have a good one. Go Stars, go Rangers, go Cowboys, and I guess go Mavs.